November 4, 2007. I want to talk a little bit about what happened after my wife was on the way to live with me in Japan, BEPPU, Japan, one of the nicest parts of Japan. The 187th Airborne Regimental Combat Team had been there quite a while. I'd been up investigating an ambulance wreck up in the mountains, had a Jeep driver. Came back, we were debating, will we be back in time for lunch? Maybe. We come in at the gate and the MP on duty says, "Are you Lieutenant Riggs?" "Yes, I am." "You and your driver are to proceed immediately. Pack your bag, do not take time to eat, hit the road toward Ashia Air Force Base, see if you can catch up with the convoy. The outfit has moved out. They're headed for Korea." Well, we did as instructed, caught up. By midnight that night, we'd been flown over from Ashia Air Force Base to Busan, got on an LST and went to the prison island of Kochido. And the paratroops, the 187th Regimental Combat Team, was honored, I guess, to be the one to surround Compound 76, a prison compound that had had the nerve to sucker the commanding general, I think his name was Dodd, down to the gate and pull him inside as a prisoner. And you know, I think it upset the Pentagon. Who's in charge of a prison island, the prisoners or the United States Army? We were camped around that compound. I guess it was pretty clear they better not try to come out. I don't know, it seemed to me like it was close to a week, during which we were advised that several other outfits were brought in. Quite obviously, the Pentagon intended to establish without a shadow of doubt that we are in charge. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't. The rumors we heard was that there were some Marines as well as some experienced outfits that had been on the front line that were brought in on that prison island. I don't remember just how duties were assigned, but I do know that we had gotten a new commanding officer after Captain James Miller, big black doctor, as a great man, had been our commanding officer for quite a while. It was almost like the Pentagon thought, it's time to get those paratroopers back on the front. They're too green. Everybody's been rotated. They sent over Captain Hawk. Not quite his real name. A cracker. I bet he was from Georgia, Alabama, somewhere down there in the South. And he was the pits. From the day he arrived, he was, I don't care what you did, you didn't do it right. He picked on the officers, he picked on the enlisted men. If he wanted to make everybody hate him, he was a grand success. Well, the morning came when the government had decided that they'd already told these guys, come out, come out, come out, and we'll just relocate you on a different part of the island and break your compound up. They said, no thank you, we're not coming out. The rumor also was that the Chinese had sent down professional organizers to have them be captured on purpose to get inside those prison compounds and organize the troops. Well, brother, they were organized all right. It was scary. I remember the hair standing up on the back of my head after having watched, first of all, the drills and the practice of real physical strength by those inmates. But when they sang their patriotic songs, Judas Priest, did I ever realize these idiots are zealots. They are going to resist. It just was a scary thing. They're going to commit a kind of suicide. Well, the morning came. We medics were on a hill, and right in front of us was where the paratroops were going to go in. Well, as a matter of fact, they came in from all sides. Our soldiers with fixed bayonets, no ammunition. Compound's not very big, can't be shooting there. You'd be shooting right across and hitting your own guys. But right in front of where we were, There were a couple of tanks, a loudspeaker system, and I suspect it was on every corner of that compound, but we could hear it very clearly in different languages. I know I heard English, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, and maybe a couple other things that were Malaysian or something. I don't know, but they tried hard to make it clear. We have warned you and warned you, come out or else. Well, they didn't come out, and incidentally, the sun had come up, and you could see inside that compound, and not a single person was in view. They had dug trenches. Well, after all the warnings, they began to cut the fences and began to lob in concussion grenades, and the smoke flew and you still didn't see anybody. Got the fences cut, tanks went in, our guys went in behind them and fanned out, and all hell broke loose. Those guys come up out of their trenches. They had made Molotov cocktails so that they were throwing back something at our guys that would burn you. And they had made, I saw these afterwards, they had made spears. Evidently had cut up fence posts, or I don't know what the heck, but they had rather flimsy looking sticks, and they had made points with tin from canned goods. And so that's their weapons against our guys with flamethrowers and fixed bayonets. Well, our medics hauled out their guys by the dozens, and loaded them into the ambulances, and they took them on back to the hospital that had been set up. We lost one guy. They cut the femur on a boy that our medics didn't get to or didn't realize what was going on quick enough, and he bled to death. So that was our only fatality, as far as I know. Their fatality rate, I don't know the exact count. What I do know is that it only lasted, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and the whole compound was cleared. In other words, at some point, the survivors did agree to march out and be relocated. I didn't volunteer, but Captain Hawk appointed me and a detail of men go inside and stack the bodies in the corners of the compound. Surely those stacks weren't as high as I remember. But as I remember, those stacks were shoulder high in all four corners of the compound. What was his reason to have us do that? Make it easy for the death detail to pick them up. You'd have to pick up here, there, yonder. We had them stacked in the corners. I gotta admit, I was shameless. I'm not the kind of officer that doesn't help. I would grab right in with the guys. I'd grab a pair of arms or a pair of legs, and we'd toss them into the corner. I never thinking about that this is somebody's son, somebody's father, etc. At least I wasn't as callous as Captain Hawk. He shocked me. I heard him say with pride to somebody, "By God, I kicked one of those bastards in the ass as they was getting to the hospital, in the ambulance." Imagine a medic, a doctor, proud of kicking an injured person who's already being carried by our guys into an ambulance. Well, one of my duties while we were there was to be the narcotics officer, and I mention that because it will come into play with the next thing I want to talk to you about, as they sent our outfit from Kojido up to the front line.